Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadtoro.com with your morning horn disease. Just sip of chaga coffee. All right, we had a big slam today in an out-of-character slam in silver. They are blaming it on Powell's hawkish remarks spark chaos, market chaos. Rate hike odds soar. Oh, yeah, Jerome Powell's going to fix inflation. It is insane when artificial moves happen in the prices of gold and silver. This is an obvious slam down by the banksters. Notice who's getting out of their positions. The bankers are getting out of their short positions in silver. Of course they're going to slam it down. That way they can close out more and more positions. That's why they're hiding the COT data, the commitment of traders data, because of the hack. And it's taking them a month to get the real numbers out. They're supposed to be done, I think, next week. And we should be caught up in the next week or two. And it will show just how much fraud was foisted upon the exchange. Meaning we should have known the bankers were getting out of their silver short long ago because it would be in the data. But you're not allowed to know that. This is in-game type of stuff, my friends. So yes, $20 silver. Will they go for the $18 silver? They've penetrated the 200-day moving average now. They're well below it. How long can they keep it down there? I don't know, because it's one of those things. The technical traders are already gone. You know, they've put their shorts on, and you know, how much more can they bleed? I don't know, but it is definitely setting up for a huge spike in the price of silver. But what I want to talk about today is this: the gold-silver ratio. The gold-silver ratio is how many ounces of silver does it take to buy 1 ounce of gold. Right now, it's 87.7. So 88 ounces of silver buys you 1 ounce of gold. If you have any gold at all, now would be the time to trade it in. But it's really interesting. After doing all that recent research on the gold standard implementation in 1900, it was clear to me that the bankers wanted the price of gold low at $20. That was right at the brink for the miners, because if they made it anything higher, a lot more gold would flow into the market. And they knew about the gold in the Grand Canyon along the Colorado River. So yeah, they set the price of literally right at the cusp of miners making money. And then because they created so much money after the gold standard was set, the price was set, you had the Fed, creation in 1913. The banks were doing creative lending the entire time. Not even lending, creating money out of thin air. And what does that do? That increased the cost of the miners. So not only was the price of their product fixed in stone at $20.67, their costs were increasing rapidly because of the devaluation of the currency. And that happened all the way till 1935. And when you think about it, so the gold-silver ratio was fixed at 20 to 1 in 1900. And in 1935, when FDR nationalized gold and then changed the price to $35, that instantly changed the gold-silver ratio, at least in U.S. dollars, to 35 to 1. So it went from 20 to 1 to 35 to 1 on a given day. That's how much control these criminal banksters need over the silver price of silver in relation to gold. Great chart here at Visual Capitalists. I love those guys. 200 years of the gold-silver ratio. Back here in the Roman Empire, it was 12 to 1 because that's pretty much what they had above ground, 12 to 1. They had 12 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. It's much less now. Above ground in the world today, because we've used up so much silver, above ground is 1 to 1, 6 to 7 billion ounces of each total. Because we've thrown all the silver away into landfills, and it's in your flat screen TV. You're not going to melt down your old flat screen TV and try to get the silver out. It doesn't make economic sense at $20 silver. It's ridiculous. At $200 silver, maybe. $2,000 silver, probably you'd see a lot more silver recycling out of the electronic stuff, but it's in such tiny amounts. We are headed for the biggest silver explosion that mankind has ever known. Bigger than the Bitcoin explosion, bigger than the Theta explosion, bigger than every single market blow off top that you can even imagine. Why? Because silver's been suppressed, price suppressed for 170 years. And when you keep that in mind, bullshit like this, them slamming the price down because they click the mouse, that's all they have to do. You're going to see the volumes go through the roof today because they click the mouse, trading back and forth to each other, trying to rig the price, trying to get out of their shorts. Just keep that in mind because we are headed towards the end game. And then you had World War II hit 18 to 1. So it started coming down from 20 to 1 in 1900. And that's the U.S. price. These are global, supposed to be global prices. So the U.S. price does not necessarily equal the price in the U.K. or in South Africa, or South Africa. They obviously had a lot of gold, so silver would probably be more valuable. It depends on where you were. This is the average prices. And then the start of World War II, it was 100 to 1. It took you 100 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. And the interesting thing is, right at the beginning of the World War II, that's when they had to borrow 3 billion ounces of silver from the U.S. Treasury and put it in the Calutron magnets at the Manhattan Project to build the first nuclear bomb. And that's when you saw the silver-gold ratio dive from 101 all the way down into 1968, where it was back below 20 to 1 at 16.8 to 1. Then the Hunt brothers manipulation. The Hunt brothers manipulation was a joke. They had 110 million ounces of physical and I think 120 million ounces of COMEX contracts. Compare that to JP Morgan. I mean, that shit trades every couple hours on the COMEX today. The price had nothing to do with what the Hunt brothers were doing. Just like the price of silver today has nothing to do with the supply and demand. Everybody knows we're in a massive deficit. Everybody knows that India is buying, last year, 300 million ounces? They only mined 800 million ounces. What about industry? Industry is supposed to take up 60% of that. So did nobody else buy silver? No. All the numbers are fake. They're all fake. It's all a fraud. And then the JP Morgan rig of silver in 2020 claiming, it's because of the pandemic. The ratio went to 123 to 1. Banks don't care about gold. Central banks don't care about gold. There's so much gold out there that they don't tell you about. They don't care how much goes out. There's so much more than what they're telling you. And I've been looking to ways to prove this, and there's a million different ways, but one of the best ways, and I went back in time. I've talked about this before. First of all, this is Ventris Gibson, the head of the U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint is now number two, or even close to number 3, but number 2 in minting sovereign coins. Now behind the the Canadian maple leaf. So the Canadian maple leaf, because of the criminality within the U.S. Mint, not making coins to meet demand, the Canadian Mint, Royal Canadian Mint, is making now more maple leaves, silver maple leaves, than we are making silver eagles. But it's not, that doesn't tell the true story. Ventris Gibson right here, this is the annual report for 2022. Amid the unprecedented demand for circulating coins, the Mint continues to be the world leader in bullion coin production. That's not true. Even increasing production quantities of one of our most popular coins, the American 1 ounce silver dollar. The American Eagle 1 ounce silver dollar. She's lying. The data is very clear. Ventris Gibson, let's take 2022, for example. This is the 2022 annual report. It's right here. She only made 15.9 million ounces of silver eagles. But here's something interesting. You go back to the time we hit maximum, it was 2015. Look at 2015. The U.S. Mint created 47 million silver eagles. So the difference between 47 and 16, pretty close to 1/3. We're making 1/3 of total capacity when Ventris Gibson is yelling about increasing production quantities of our most popular coins. But I did something else. I wanted to see the gold-silver ratio. I wanted to know, okay, let's just say the Mint has decided they just don't want to make as many coins for whatever reason. What is going on with the Gold Eagle coins? What is going on with the Gold Eagle coins for 2022 versus that year that they made a hell of a lot of Silver Eagles, 2015? So last year in Gold Eagles, they made 1.6 million. 1.6 million Gold Eagles. So silver was down, 66%. But gold, let's see what they made in 2015. If these numbers are to jive, they should have made, over 4 million ounces of of Gold Eagles back in 2015. Let's take a look. What did they make in 2015? Total Gold Eagles, 800,000. 800. See, this is the amazing thing that people don't look at. 800,000 Eagles in 2015, and the U.S. Mint made 1.6, over double the amount of Gold Eagles compared to 2015, whereas silver is one third of what they made in 2015. If this doesn't scream something big is going on, I don't know what does. So the gold-silver ratio, according to the U.S. Mint, is completely out of whack. They're making massively. You throw the dollar amounts on that. Silver used to be the largest dollar spent at the U.S. Mint. People bought more Silver Eagles in dollar value than they did Gold Eagles, even though gold was 100 times more expensive. So Ventures Gibson is lying about the Eagle program. What can we do about it? Or is she lying or is she not? She said they ever increasing production quantities, but she didn't say that they're being sold to the public. I think that's the twist that we're not being told. Yes, they are making massively more Silver Eagles. I would guess 70 to 80 million on a per year basis. 70 to 80 million, but they're only selling to us 16 million. So the vast majority of Silver Eagles that are being made right now are being stockpiled. And I think the head of the U.S. Mint, Ms. Ventures Gibson, needs to be honest with the people. We need honesty out of our government. Stop lying to us, because we catch you in every lie that you throw out there. Stop lying to the people. People are starting to wake up now. They just released the cameras within the Capitol building showing the Capitol Police escorting all the crazy people who are going to overthrow the government, escorting them around, trying to open doors for them, walking them. Okay, it was completely orchestrated, and the police were involved. 100% orchestrated. Capitol Police served as tour guides for QAnon shaman on January 6th. This was all a false flag. That's the amazing thing. And now it's coming out. What are the crazy leftist Democrats going to do? I mean, they're saying this is the worst thing since 9/11 about January 6th. And now we find out it was a complete fraud. What are we going to do about it? Don't expect Congress to do a thing about it. They never have and they never will. Interesting thing, though, like hundreds of people are still in jail because they went into the Capitol building. It's amazing. Growing number of January 6th defendants asked judge to delay trials in light of newly released footage. The growing number of people charged with crimes related to January 6, 2001, breach of the U.S. Capitol, are requesting trial delays so they can review newly disclosed footage. Shane Jenkins became one of the latest defendants when he filed a motion through an attorney to delay the trial due to the disclosure of some 41,000 hours of security footage. This is good. But don't forget, our justice system, the judges are just as corrupt as the politicians, just as corrupt as the Capitol Police. I don't know what's going to come of this, but our country is literally this. If people are waiting for the big fights to begin, we're knee deep in it. We are knee deep in a war against people who want to overthrow our country. And when it breaks into the streets, that's when it's going to get really ugly. That's what we hope doesn't happen, but we know it's going to happen. And when does that happen, Bix? When does that happen? When they shut off the ATMs. When a derivative bubble goes off, explodes, all of a sudden you can't get any money out of your bank because your bank is completely and totally insolvent. Remember, banks are fractionally reserved, meaning they lend out 10 times what they have in their vault. And it's probably even more than that by using derivatives. So nobody's going to have anything. You're not going to be able to go to your local grocery store and buy groceries. They'll be shut. The doors will be shut. All the shelves would be emptied in about 30 minutes. So I don't know when this is going to happen, but a lot of signs are pointing to sooner rather than later. As far as silver, today's the last day for cutting off the COT report. And I think we'll by the time it's supposed to get released on Friday, they're catching up. We should be pretty much caught up in the next 2 weeks. So, yeah, I think the silver slams will end very abruptly, and you won't be able to get it. So right now you can get the Road to Ruta 10-ounce silver bars from Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin. Send him an email, info@milesfranklin.com. Only $2.99 over spot. Those are really cool collector's items, if you have to ask me. I ordered a whole bunch of them because they're Road to Ruta, and you can stack them in 10-ounce. That's a good chunk of silver. Good to give out as presents if you're that wealthy. Anyway, so yeah, we're traveling on down the Road to Ruta, trying to expose the light to everyone to see what is behind the curtain. It's so much. I mean, we are living out the Wizard of Oz with the little man behind the curtain. You watch the Wizard of Oz movies. Obviously, it was a book long before that, and it's about the gold versus silver. It's a great analysis of it. The Yellow Brick Road is the gold standard. Dorothy actually had silver slippers, not ruby slippers. That was done for the movie and to cover up what was really going on. But yeah, it was about the criminal banksters. They had all the gold back then, and they wanted to control you, and they got that control with the implementation of the gold standard in 1900. So yeah, we're hanging in there. There's a hell of a lot of gold news to come out, and the silver is, I've yet, other than the Manhattan Project silver, where the U.S. lent the Manhattan Project 3 billion ounces of silver. That's back when there were silver certificates. So there was a time when your government was completely lying to you that they had 3 billion ounces of silver in their coffers, and they had silver certificates out that could have been redeemed. As a matter of fact, in the book, Now It Can Be Told by Leslie Graves, the guy who ran the Manhattan Project, that was one of the key things, was keeping the borrowing of silver a secret from the people. Welcome to America. It's crazy. Go check out the Road to Ruta Theory. It explains everything. And then a bunch of good videos on there. And if you're on the private road, lots of crazy stuff on there. So go check it out. Things I can't say on YouTube, which is pretty much everything these days. But I think YouTube will end up very much like Twitter. There'll be a change of management, and all of a sudden there'll be free speech again on YouTube. So I'm hanging out for that. Although I don't like the guy who created YouTube. In 1999, he got the patent for it. Mark Collins Rector, look him up if you want to be thoroughly disgusted. He's part of the crypto cabal now, I would guess. I haven't heard hide nor hair of him since he disappeared that way. But go check it out. Lots to discover on the Road to Ruta. Do a search. You could do a search for the Manhattan Project Silver. If you don't know about it, we're looking at 58 different articles. 58 different articles on the Manhattan Project Silver. The Great Silver Mystery. So Dark is the Con. Ex-President Clinton admits gold controversy was necessary for economic management. The flooding, Hurricane Sandy flooding the DTCC. All this stuff is all related. And on the Road to Ruta, we try to connect the dots. So go check it out. And that's what I got for you. I'll talk to you guys later.